share whatever you want here. You have a sighting yourself then, or sighting or experience or something like that?
Yes, I have. First of all, everybody, hello. Thank you for coming today. It's excellent to be amongst fellow UFO enthusiasts. My name is Darren. I'm from Wisconsin. My fascination with UFOs has been inherited since I was a child. I've been with it long enough that I've done my personal study. Anyway, I feel like I exercise good discretion in trying to separate the credible from the, I don't know, the fake stuff. Anyway, just recently, I live up in Walker, Minnesota. That's about a 3-hour north drive, 3-hour by car, north drive. Anyway, I have 2 friends in recent days that I've talked to, well, 3, I guess, but in recent times, 2 separate people have had sightings, one near Little Falls, and I guess there is a Camp Ripley near there. They seen a triangular shaped, unidentified flying object, and the character, the way it was flying, they said it was like it was flying backwards, so it's like you would expect a triangle if it was flying, it would be with a pointy end first. She said as her and her friend were at a stop and go light, they saw 2 lights coming from the distance, and it was just above treetop level. It was moving at a pretty good speed. She said they just saw the 2 lights at first, and as they got closer, they saw the 3rd, and it was the shape of a triangle. And I think, in my opinion, with all of my research, is I feel it's a credible story amongst with other testimony I've heard from other people about triangular UFOs and the flight propulsion of them flying backwards. And then also, just north of there in Walker, another person had seen a triangle aircraft along with a flying saucer just across from the Northern Light Casino in Walker. But I can tell you about my personal UFO story.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
we have how much time do you need, Bill?
3 minutes.
Okay, so like up to about 5:02, and then we'll be then we'll wrap. Then it'll be a wrap.
Sounds good. Thank you. Well, this night was holy cow. It was just really amazing. It all started with this one night. It wasn't one particular 5-second, like, what was that? This whole night was just a night full of events. I was with my friend. We went for a walk around my parents' neighborhood. And as we were sitting my parents had a rock and swing on their yard. Talking, sometimes I look off in the distance. I don't know why. Eye contact scares me. So I was looking at the ground under my peripheral vision. I saw this light in the sky, and I just immediately leaped up and pointed out there were these 3, the best that I can describe them as like 3 balls of fire. They're orange balls, and it was almost like, and they were blinking in and out, and there was no craft behind them, which was kind of amazing. And this is just above the horizon, and this is before dusk, so this is during daytime hours. The sky was still blue. This is looking to the southwest. Yep. And those were blinking, and those disappeared, and it's just, wow, what was that? You know, and we're knocking on the windows trying to get my parents, family, anybody's attention to come out. Meanwhile, other things were happening in the sky. You know how it looks when you strike a match and it will flare up, that flame? Things were just randomly, like, that would happen, like a match would, when you strike a match would flare up in the sky. One other thing that did, 2 more things that happened in this night that were just kind of astounding. One was looking to the west. This is about during dusk when the sky is turning orange. It looked just like a satellite just going along, you know, and about at that speed too. When it's just on this trajectory course, whatever, and it did like if you write in cursive, when you write a letter J and you do the underhook to come up and connect to the next letter, it did one of those and just shot back. I don't know how fast compared to when it came in, but it was an incredible speed. It did like a 180 shot off. And so, which again, this is amazing. I'm knocking on the windows, and finally my dad and youngest sister come outside, and we're walking around the house, and at this time, it's dark. I didn't see this part, but my dad saw it, and it's consistent with other testimony I've heard too, where 2 lights will come from the furthest reaches of east and west and come at a blazing speed and meet up. My dad saw that part of this. The part that I saw was when, in the shape of a cross, just above tree level in our backyard, a light turned on, and it looked like this. There were 3 points of light. It just turned on. My dad, before it turned on, he said he saw the two lights come together. Then I met it, and oops, my dad, as a child born in the 80s, I'm always like, aliens exist, and my dad's like, shut up, Aaron, they're not real. And I remember looking at his face, because it was like watching the 4th of July fireworks, like when the light will shine off his face. And as an arrogant child, I was like, ha, in your face, Dad. I know, but I didn't say that. I thought that. But and so then, what was this light when it turned on? It was like being at a baseball stadium at nighttime with the lights on. It was powerful. It was still. It did not waver. It turned on. There was a light right there in our backyard, and it turned off. Again, I didn't see this part, but my dad did. He saw the two lights just shoot off at separate directions. Now, something else that I didn't think about until my dad pointed it out, and it wasn't until a good, I would say a minute, that we heard the sounds of jets flying over. And what's crazy is there was absolutely no sound of jet before this. And I've talked to other people in my hometown area that have seen strange things like balls of light being followed by a military aircraft. And so, you have to be open to, other people's testimonies, because it kind of shapes what you see too. And I almost want to think that there was some unknown aerial phenomenon taking place in the sky that night, and there was an interest that something was out, checking it out after what we had seen in the sky.
What year was this?
This was in September of 2004.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Did you talk with anyone, like any investigators or anything?
I haven't, but
Okay.
I found on the internet someone else in my area had seen the balls of light.
That would be cool to have, get you to hook up with one of the field investigators and have the interview you.
Mm-hmm.
We have one, Steve Hero was up in that area, kind of, Walker is, I'm not sure my geography is.
North of Brainerd.
Steve Hero just moved.
Okay, so do we have an investigator up there?
And so this was Walker now, Wisconsin?
This, my last story was in Wisconsin. It was in Kellner, near Stevens Point. It's right in the center of Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin Rapids, but.
So the lights that he's describing happened in Wisconsin?
Okay, all right.
But those balls of fire that I had seen initially, I have found YouTube videos where someone got footage with a cell phone, and just like what I saw that night. And I would like to put together like a testimony video or something for YouTube.
Sure, great.
I love
Great.
testimony. But, yeah.
I was just going to say, I kind of thought what you were describing was something that a friend of mine told me about this summer. He was up north because this guy was doing all kinds of weird stuff, and his wife went out there to take pictures, so she was just snapping them. And as she was taking this series of pictures with the phenomena in the sky, all of a sudden in one of her pictures of the series, there was like this just big ball of light, and then it disappeared. And it was kind of like, it's just exactly like what you explained happened over there. So I was just wondering what time of the year it was, if it was this year.
Yeah, it was in the fall, which I want to think that a lot of interesting things can take place in the fall time for whatever reason.
About how long would you say this encounter lasted?
Well, I would say at least within the time span of an hour, because it was light out and it was completely dark. Well, the moon was out. Another interesting thing, if I wanted to take it a step further to think about, weather control and stuff, it was a clear night up until all this stuff started happening. And about the time after this light turned on in our backyard, post night, like dark time, there was a full moon and the sky was absolutely just like, what is that called? Overcast. Yeah, it was a complete overcast. And so that was just kind of interesting too for a night pool. Crazy phenomena that, that suddenly the sky would be blacked out. So, another question?
This light that turned on in the backyard, are you talking about a yard light, or are you saying a UFO light?
It was a UFO light, like, just above tree level, stationary, did not waver. Another question?
And how, what distance?
The distance? Pretty close. If I had to gauge, I measured trees for a living, so I have a pretty good estimation with heights. I would say at least, you know, maybe about the height of this building, I would say about would be the level, and my distance from it too. I would have been at about, I think, 45 degrees about trying.
And it actually illuminated the treetops and things like that.
Oh, yep. And
So, okay, that gives you pretty much of an absolute distance scale then.
Mm-hmm.
If you see cast light from the object illuminating something on the ground, that gives you pretty solid absolute distance.
And the history, or where I live, I think there's kind of a history for phenomena too, but, you know, I think the whole world is full of mystery, so there's phenomena everywhere.
This cross thing you saw, did it fade away or just go away?
When I saw it, it dimmed out as if a light switch had been flipped and it turned out. Now, following this, I didn't see this part, but the two lights that came together that I almost could think formed this cross shape, my dad saw break apart and shoot back in the separate directions. You know, getting blazing speeds. Yeah, and the whole UFO phenomena, like, I don't think is one solid thing. It could be beyond. It could be lots of things, alien, spiritual, whatever. But I do know that, like, Scripture says that there will be signs and wonders in the sky. And I think I've always wanted to see an actual flying saucer craft. But I know what I saw that night was just astounding. I don't know if it was from a spiritual nature or if it's something interdimensional or what it is, some form of consciousness and a ball of light. I don't know. But I know what happened was phenomenal, and I hope to. I'm always watching the sky. So, and if anybody has any, again, testimonies, I would love to hear about it because I hope to interview people. So.
Well, we do need field investigators, and so I would, invite you to, are you a member of Move On now?
Not yet.
Okay, join.
Okay.
And, join as a field investigator trainee, and we will be teaching a field investigation class in January timeframe.
Well, can I talk for 30 seconds?
Yeah, Bill wants 5 minutes again, so come on up.
Yeah, oh no.